Many believers are giving up at the exact moment God is about to move. You've prayed, you've waited, you've done everything right, and still, nothing changes. The bills are still due. The diagnosis is still there. The phone still hasn't rung. And somewhere in the silence, a thought creeps in. Maybe God forgot about you. But if you study the Bible closely, you'll notice something strange. The darkest moment in almost every deliverance story wasn't a sign that God had left. It was a sign that He was about to arrive. Here are 6 biblical signs that your breakthrough might be closer than your situation is telling you. The first sign is silence. In the book of John, when Lazarus fell sick, his sisters sent for Jesus immediately. But Scripture says, Jesus stayed where he was 2 more days, 2 days of silence. 2 days where Mary and Martha buried their brother, wondering why Jesus didn't come sooner. But that silence wasn't neglect. It was preparation for something silence alone can't explain, a resurrection so undeniable that no one could call it luck. If God has gone quiet in your life right now, ask yourself, what if the silence isn't Him ignoring your prayer? What if it's Him preparing an answer to beg for a quick response? The second sign is resistance. Right before the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, Pharaoh's army came harder than ever. Right before the walls of Jericho fell, the city looked more sealed than ever. Resistance doesn't usually increase after a breakthrough. It increases right before one. If your struggle has gotten louder, more intense, more overwhelming lately, that isn't proof God has abandoned the plan. It might be proof the enemy knows the plan is about to succeed. The third sign is isolation. Joseph was thrown in a pit by his own brothers, sold into slavery, then forgotten in an Egyptian prison for years. Alone, forgotten, written off. But that isolation was the exact environment where his character, his wisdom, and his discernment were shaped for the position he would eventually hold, second only to Pharaoh himself. If you feel isolated right now, misunderstood, forgotten, cut off from people who used to be close, consider that. Isolation is often the training ground breakthrough requires, not the sign that it's been canceled. The fourth sign is delay. Abraham and Sarah waited 25 years for the promised child. 25 years of aging, doubting, and trying to make the promise happen their own way. But delay was never denial. It was timing. The promise arrived exactly when it needed to. Not a day earlier, not a day later. If your answer feels overdue, it doesn't mean it isn't coming. It might mean it's being timed for a moment you can't see yet. The fifth sign is refinement. Job lost his health, his wealth, and nearly his family, and still, he said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. That season wasn't punishment. It was refinement, the kind that strips away everything except what's actually unshakable. If this season has stripped things away from you, ask what's left standing. That's usually the part God is building on. The sixth and final sign is this. The waiting itself often produces the very thing you're asking for. Not just a stronger circumstance, but a stronger you. James wrote that the testing of faith produces endurance, and endurance, when it's finished, leaves you lacking nothing. The breakthrough isn't only the moment your circumstances change. Sometimes the deepest breakthrough is who you become in the waiting. So if you're in a season that feels like silence, resistance, isolation, delay, or refinement, you're not off track. You might be closer to your breakthrough than your situation is letting on. If this spoke to you, tell me in the comments which sign you needed to hear today. And if you want more reminders like this one, subscribe, because the next video might be the one that gets you through the waiting.